Welcome to Creepietime Carnival. Crawling cabal of carnal creatures cavorting in the caverns and cloaks to create clouds of corruption to spread throughout the fairgrounds. You, my friends, have snapped a twig in the night forest of the hunger swearing, and now all green, unseen flickering eyes and glitter upon your back. Muuhuuuhaaahaaa, all that rot we can leave at the side of the road. You will get no Muuhuuuhaas from me. I have no stake in the impending demise of your imagination. No power accrues to me what shall soon come to pass is history. I am a simple caretaker, keeper. I have but one job at this carnival of chaos when the trucks roll into a new town. I just throw open the back, stand aside, and let the nightmares come pouring out.
Fakeout Forest, an all-too-true voracious tale of non-fictive battle battalions blasting and blasting each other in the verisimilitude with the mere appearance of realia, which was a deception masking deep-seated artifice. By Ternal Trella and the Boybay Bayteen with special gust Windy Steeshole McSteve.
Put another tenner on the desk and let's just forget this ever happened,
urged the officer.
Not likely, Mandrake.
His ratty quarry wheezed, lighting another cigarette even as the one from before dropped from her fingers.
The way I see it, you and I got two ways we could go on this.
The other nodded.
50-50.
That's right,
responded Officer Mandrake.
So which way's it gonna be?
The way that sees me walking out of here and your brains splattered all over that wall,
responded Hennessy A.B. Moneybags, who was no mean shot when it came to the rifle. She gunned him down. Old Officer Mandrake sure weren't expecting that, and now he would never expect nothing ever again. Hennessy laughed a long, clear laugh that devolved into a fit of coughing. This weren't going nothing like in the movies. She checked her chamber, took another drag off her ciggy, and staggered out into the hallway.
Are you shitting me, Cooter?
She asked when she saw that her old companion was already shuffling down the hall to meet her.
I told you to wait until after we made the handoff.
Cooters weren't having none of it, though. He came up and licked her hand, and she couldn't help but smile that yellow-tooth nicotine smile she only shared with her dog.
All right, boy, no sense arguing about it now. Let's go.
Cooters was down. The pair made their way down the hallway when the red lights started flashing. All the normal fluorescence darkened, casting the whole compound into an eerie glow.
Don't it just give you the willies, Cooter?
Hennessy intoned, though she was still smiling. Truth was, weren't much that could freak her out no more. Not after what she'd done. Not after the things she'd seen.
Might have to bust a few more caps before the day is done.
The dog looked at her a moment, as though even he had better sense than to try to pull off saying nothing about.
Busting cap.
But still, Hennessy was in a great mood when she rounded the last corner and came face to face with the smackaroony himself, King Giblet of the Seven Goblets.
Wow, you came all the way down here yourself,
she said.
Didn't send none of your henchmen instead.
You just kill 'em, I expect,
said King Giblet.
And then who would make me dinner?
You thought you'd handle the business yourself.
King Giblet nodded, picking something out of one of his teeth with what looked to be a Bowie knife. By her side, Hennessy's old dog Cooters growled.
Your mutt don't know when to muzzle it, do he?
You ain't no king talking that way about a lady's dog.
And you ain't no lady,
he said, slipping the knife back into a slot on his belt.
so I guess that makes us a couple of nobodies.
And we'll be one less nobody here in a minute, so why not stow the babblegab and let's get down to the killing. That's why we all bought a ticket.
You may have bought a ticket,
said the king.
but now you shall buy the phone.
He pulled out a blast array and fired a megapulse. The beam was deafening. Hennessy adroitly caterwauted out of the way and deployed her deflector shield. Here, there was no sign of the staggering smoker who was one drink too many over the line, the woman she had been just moments before. Instead, a finely carven death machine doling out waves of injustice and impurity refracted the kingly beam. Cooters was, for the moment, nowhere to be seen.
You have skill, woman,
said King Giblet of the Seven Goblets.
but I have something more.
Hennessy didn't do these words the dignity of a response, but instead switched her deflector shield into beam-o-matic mode and unleashed what she had always thought of as a cosmic whirlwind of depredation at the king. It flew through the air like a hail of Botswanian hunting hammers. She couldn't see through the thickened haze of depletion that surrounded her target, but the king's coughs were loud and ragged. She had done him an uncontestable injury there. She took 2 steps closer, preparing the light bolo grasper flail that would wrap around his kingly head and dash it into the nearest wall, ending his reign for at least a fortnight before his powerful goblets were able to regenerate his earthly form. Perhaps, in that time, she could come to eliminate him on some firmer basis, to find 1 or perhaps 2 of his 7 goblets and eradicate their mystic powers of preservation. With such victorious thoughts buzzing in her sinews, she let loose with her laser bolo ray wielder. A second later, she screamed in mortal torment. She had misjudged the archfiend, King Giblet, the Scepter Gobletrician. He had conjured a powerful energy arc using ethereal martyr spirits, and countered her ray wielder as though it were no more than a pile of children's stick-em-ups. Not only that, but in so doing, he had driven the worst of their plunder vesicles deep into her dear companion, Cooters, the love dog. Her animal's howl of death agony wended in her ears as the sinister, cackling gasps of the royal article, Fiend Patrician, the unloyal Giblet King, pounded in the walls of Mercenaries' Cove.
The grave be unto thy filthy canine. Ye have let him at the last of yon beast with thy own blow, and in so doing thus finished him.
The laughter swelled to obscene voluminousness.
It is made that this foul beast hath met an end such as this.
For all the wildebeest fronds in Wichita,
Screameth the woman, seeing through a divine haze of hate and anger as she lifted high her hidden power, the dagger blade Mythopoly the masterful, and plunging it into the heart of the cloud of laughter, did thus.
Fie for real.
Came the cry of the bastard lord, and he toppled. From his mouth did spew a profusion of insects so odious and unlike the normal kind seen to crawl and multiply upon the earth, that at first Hennessy did think she had slipped open some unholy vaultway to the chasms of the fiery abyss beneath. But as the revolting tide poured onwards, a lessening of that being known upon the earth of men as the king of the goblets and the architect of misery was effected to such an extent that Hennessy indeed wondered if, in sooth, there would be any real need to destroy the 7 goblets in which the foul excrescence kept the seat of his power. His jaw flapped uselessly, unhinged as it had become from the root of his skull, whence it had descended with the might of Hennessy's fearsome blow. He seemed about to form some token expression or hint of the anger that must have been his final lot, but in the end nothing came out of his tumorous mouth but more fetid bugs.
you're a piece of shit, Gobletrician,
shouted Hennessy through a gauze of tears.
You're nothing but a shit scoundrel and a shame weaver.
She collapsed on the floor, a ragged bundle of tears and anger. Cooters, her long companion, had been reduced to a vaporous sheen of viscera by her own hand. Her sense of guilt was mountainous. Just then, she felt a familiar lick at her fingers. She looked up, disbelieving, and saw that indeed it was her loved and loving Cooters, showing salivatory appreciation for her with his well-worn tongue.
My Cooters, my dear,
she exclaimed in a state of profound shock at finding her beloved animal alive. She saw then what must have happened. The man had employed the deep fake-out move to trick her into thinking she had murdered her dog, hoping to unman her. But he had overshot, and instead unloosed a reserve of hellish anger so powerful it had sped her forth into unimaginable power.
Oh, my dear Cooters,
she said.
I've had enough of this crimson-bathed death hole. Let us hence to win through to the goblets if we may, and destroy the very filth who had tried to claim your life by my hand.
At this, the steadfast dog gave a mighty woof of agreement. She picked up her things, spat upon the broken heap of bones and gelatin that remained of the King Giblet's human form, and marched out the door. Cooters trotted along benignly behind her but stopped to turn. Shoot one more Michael Jackson's Thriller look over his shoulder as his eyes glowed a putrid green color, and in that moment we were made to realize that in fact Hennessy had destroyed her beloved hound, and that the dog trotting behind her now was nothing more than the hideous monster king himself in a treacherous skin disguise. Oh man, it's going to be so shitty for Hennessy, who had already lit up another cigarette by the time this freeze frame occurred, when she finds out what happened.